doing a glowy spring makeup look using all affordable drugstore products. Every product I'm using today can be found on Walmart.com, who is kindly sponsoring today's video. I'll have all the links listed down below in case you want to check anything out. I used a mixture of some new finds and also some old favorites, but everything is affordable and perfect for beauty on a budget. I'm excited to show you these products, so let's get into it. I'm gonna start by priming my skin with this Milani Conceal and Perfect Blur Out Smoothing Primer. I really love the consistency of this primer. It's kind of different than anything else I've tried because it kind of has like a cloudy, airy feeling to it, but it's also cooling at the same time. And I have used this quite a few times now, and I do notice the blurring and smoothing effect that it gives. So I do kind of place it all over, but I also really like to focus it right in the center area of my cheeks because that's where I have like the biggest pores. For foundation, I'm gonna use this L'Oreal Lumi Glow Tint, and I have the shade 100 Cool. And this is a pretty thin formula, so it does feel really lightweight on the skin. I picked up this product because when I was first getting into makeup, like I want to say when I was in high school, probably like 14, 15 years old, I used to love the L'Oreal Lumi foundation, the one that's in the glass bottle. So when I saw this Lumi skin tint, it just kind of brought me back and I just had to try it. Also, skin tints are just so in right now, and this one is going to have more of a glowy finish to it. Okay, wait, look at that coverage. And that was just one light layer, and also that match is looking really good going down my neck. I really want my base to be glowy, but like in all the right places today. That's the goal. Now I do have a few blemishes still peeking through, but that's because that was more of a light to medium coverage skin tint. So I'm gonna go in with a full coverage concealer. Just dotting that on the blemishes that just need a little extra coverage. And I prefer to do this because I don't really want to use a medium to full coverage foundation all over my face when I don't need that coverage everywhere. So that's why I tend to use a skin tint with a full coverage concealer. And then I'm just blending in that concealer with the fluffy concealer brush. Okay, my base is looking really nice. I also want to try that concealer under my eyes. I'm just going to do a little bit since this is a full coverage one. And then I'm going to bring whatever is left over onto my eyelids just to conceal this area a little bit too. Okay, I'm actually loving that concealer, especially for being a full coverage concealer. It does not look heavy at all. Next, I have a liquid blush that I've really been loving. It's by Lottie London. It is the Sweet Blush in the shade Soft Rose. I'm going to squeeze them out on the back of my hand. And with this type of product, I'm going to dip my brush in it at first and then kind of just pat my brush around on the back of my hand to get it distributed on the brush nicely. And then I'll go in with it on my cheeks. And I just think this is the prettiest soft pink rosy shade. I'm still kind of new to Lottie London products, but Walmart had so many of their products online. And I didn't know this, but Lottie London also has press-on nails. I'm wearing a pair right now. These are the pearl glaze nails. I really like the color, and then some of the nails have little pearls on top of them, which I kind of love the texture of. But anyways, look at how gorgeous this liquid blush is. This is such a me kind of shade. And since I'm keeping things pretty light and kind of springy and glowy today, I'm not going to do a full eyeshadow look. So I am going to place my blush like all over my cheek and kind of on this outer part of my eye as well. This is just the technique that I like to do when I know I'm not going to wear a lot of eyeshadow. And I just think it looks so cute and girly. And sometimes I can find liquid blushes to be a little tricky to work with, but this one blends out so nicely. You have a lot of time to work with it. And it also doesn't leave like any dark patches where I first placed down my brush, but I also think that's because I'm doing a good job at like working the product into the brush. Now I want to set parts of my face, and I'm going to use an old favorite drugstore powder. This is the e.l.f. Halo Glow Setting Powder, and I have the shade Light Pink. This is probably my top favorite powder at the drugstore. I finished an entire jar of this powder, I want to say last year, but it just gives such a beautiful finish to the skin. It's nothing too mattifying, so it's perfect for this more glowy look. Actually, I think I do want to set my entire face with it just because I'm kind of loving the finish that it's giving. Just comparing the two sides, you can see that this side is set, but there is still a little bit of a glow to it, but it's not as glowy as the unset side. What I like about this powder too is that even though this one is the light pink shade, it's still pretty translucent and doesn't add like any kind of tint to my skin at all. And then switching to a larger brush to set the rest of my face. You guys know I love my blushes. I love layering liquid cream powder blushes together, so I did also get 2 more blushes from Lottie London. These are the ombre blushes and they are so gorgeous. So the first one is Serene, and this is more of like a nude that goes into a light pink. And I like to swirl it all together when I'm swatching and applying it. So that's Serene, and this one's going to be a bit brighter. Again, this one is Exposed. And I also really like the finish of these two. It's not completely matte, it's more of a satin finish. I could honestly do either of these for this look, but I think I want to use Serene because I've been using this one a lot off camera, and I just have to show you how gorgeous it is. Taking my fluffy blush brush and popping that on the cheeks. What I really like about this shade is that it has that nudeness to it, and so as someone who is really fair like me, it's not going to show up and be like, whoa, that's an intense blush. Like, it's definitely a softer shade that you can build up. I gotta say, I'm pretty impressed with these 2 Lottie London blush formulas, and you guys know I love my blushes. And then again, I just take whatever's left over kind of on this outer part of my eyelid just to add a little bit of color up here. I really need to add some bronzer to my forehead to kind of even everything out, so I'm going to go in with an old favorite. It is the NYX Butter Bronzer, and I have the lightest shade Buttercup. I really do love the formula of the NYX Buttermelt blushes and bronzers, but they are so pigmented, so you only need like the tiniest bit of product. Even that's going to be too much, so I'm going to dust that off a bit. And just adding that to the very top of my forehead. And I like to use the same brush for my powder, blushes, and bronzers just to kind of mix the colors together. To me, it just kind of makes everything look a bit more cohesive. Okay, there we go. And now my face is looking a bit more dimensional. Like I said, I'm keeping the eyes very simple today, so I kind of use that blush just to add a bit of color to the outer part of my eyelid, but now I want to add some sparkle. I did get an eyeshadow stick to try it. This one's by L'Oreal. The shade is called Twinkly Rose. There is swatched out right there. It's kind of like a deeper champagne, but then I also got a product I've really been wanting to try for a while now. It's one of the e.l.f. Finest Fleck glitter eyeshadows, and I have the shade White Hot. Let's try these out. I'm gonna start with that e.l.f. eyeshadow on my finger, and I want to place this on the inner part of my eyelid just for a soft wash of sparkle. Okay, that looks freaking gorgeous. That much sparkle, and I think this product is $6. That's amazing. And I'm pretty sure they have quite a few shades of this as well, and you could totally layer this on top of like whatever kind of look you want. Wow. Now, I love a pop of shimmer on the lower lash line. I think it really helps to make the eyes pop, so I want to try this shadow stick for that. So I'm just going to run this across my lower lash line. And then I'm just grabbing a small little brush to kind of smudge that out. Okay, I actually think that looks really pretty. This shade is only slightly deeper than my skin tone. You can still see the bit of definition that I added, and I just love the little bit of sparkle. And this is actually really creamy as well. I need to try this on the eyelid someday. While I'm here with this small little crease brush, I am going to dip and just do a tiny bit of that NYX bronzer I was using and just use that to add a touch more definition down here. I do love the shimmer of that shadow stick, but I just need a little bit more color. Now I'm going to finish off this look with one of my favorite drugstore mascaras. It is the e.l.f. Lash and Roll, and today I'm going to use the brown shade. Personally, I am team curved wand with mascaras. I find that this kind of shape does such a good job at grabbing each and every lash, especially from root to tip. And I find that this formula is really easy to work with as well. It doesn't clump up right away, so I do have time to kind of fix my lashes, make sure they're not sticking together or anything. I put a little bit on my bottom lashes as well, but just look at that before and after. All right, here's the final close-up of the eyes all done. I think they look so pretty. This look was so soft and easy to do. Now for lips, I have 2 products I want to try out. I'll probably just mix them together. One I've tried before and one is new to me. First is the NYX Fat Oil Lip Drip. I have the shade Mist Call. all. Now this one is pretty pink, but I thought it'd be perfect for this more spring look because it is a brighter color and because I have a lot of blush going on. But I also got the e.l.f. lip oil in the glimmer finish, and the shade is called Crystal Baller. This is another e.l.f. product I've been wanting to try for a while now because I do love their original lip oil, but the shimmer finish is so pretty. Like, can you just tell I'm in a shimmery mood? So I kind of just want to mix these together, use the NYX one to get that pink pigment, but then use this one to get that shimmery effect. All right, going in with the NYX. I've been having a lot of fun kind of leaning into these more brighter lip colors for the spring. This is actually a really comfortable lip oil. It has quite a bit of pigment, but it's not sticky at all. But I just have to try this on top. I don't want to get too much on the wand because I don't want to like make this whole thing pink. So I'm just going to get some on my lips like that and just kind of like tap it out. Oh my gosh, that is so pretty. I would love this just on top of like a regular nude lip as well. Now I want to finish off this look with just a little bit of highlighter. Now this is a new brand to me. It's called Pretty Smart, and these are their gold illuminating face drops. Now this type of product you can apply a few different ways. I see a lot of people use something like this underneath your foundation to get a really glowy base. But what I'm gonna do is I took a little bit on the back of my hand and I'm gonna take my damp sponge and just kind of press a little bit of that into the sponge. And I'm just gonna dot that on the very highest point of my cheekbone for even more of a glow. And you don't want to use too much pressure because you don't want to disrupt the makeup underneath it, but look at how pretty that is. This would also look really pretty on like a no makeup kind of day as well, just to add a bit of glow. But I think that looks so pretty as a little finishing touch. All right, and that is the full face of makeup all done using all affordable products that can be found on walmart.com. I think this turned out so pretty. It is totally giving me glowy spring vibes. I think the products I'm most excited to keep playing with are the L'Oreal Lumi Skin Tint. I really liked how lightweight this feels on the skin with the light to medium coverage and a bit of glow. And then these Lottie London ombre blushes I think are so gorgeous. Again, the shade Serene that I used is so perfect for my fair skin. And then these two little glittery products from e.l.f. I can see myself getting so much use out of these and just layering products underneath it and then putting these on top when I want that bit of sparkle. As always, everything will be linked down below. Thank you again to Walmart and Magic Links for sponsoring this video. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe.